Hello guys, welcome to Bhavna's Online Academy. So in this video, we are going to discuss how to present your paper like a ranker. That means what does the topper students or the all India rankers do differently in the papers that the average students are not doing currently. After analyzing about 50 to 60 all India ranker papers, I've come up with specific very important points that I found common in all those papers and that we are going to discuss in this video. So this is going to be a very informative video and watch till the end, and this will definitely help you increase marks in your examination. So I've split the video into two parts. First we are going to discuss all the common points, and after that I'll go subject wise if there is any specific points that you have to remember, right? And this video is totally for theory subjects. The next video will be on practical subjects and it will be even more informative, so do check that out too. Yes, so without any further ado, let's get into the video guys. So now first starting with the common points. Yes, so here I'm going to discuss 6 points with you, starting with the very important first point, which is your structure. How should you structure your theory paper? What should be the way you should start writing your theory paper? Before getting into how to write the answer, you should first know what should be the structure of your paper so you can answer properly, correct? So how does the answers questions have to be answered, in what order, and how you have to answer? So there are three major points that you have to remember, very important ones. The answer order. In what order should you start answering the question? Always remember, answer your best questions first. That means the questions which you know very well and very thoroughly, start answering in that order, correct? Yes, so if the question number 4 is what you know first very well, then write 4, then 2, then 1. The first 3 questions which you are writing in your answer paper will decide the fate of your answer sheet. That means it will build a mindset on the paper corrector's mind, that what kind of a student are you intelligent, do you know the paper very well, do you know, have you studied for the exam or not? All these can be decided by just seeing the first 3 answers in your paper. So make sure write the best answers first and go in that order. So after you have decided your answer order, the very next important part is your subparts. So in a question, it's not only question number 4, but your question number 4 will have part A, part B, part C, and all of that, correct? So whenever you are answering your subpart, the order need not be the same. You can answer first part 4, question number 4 B part, then you can answer C part, then you can answer A part. That is fine. But what you have to remember is, when you are doing this, make sure you're answering all the subparts together in a question. That means if you have taken question number 4 first, then answer all the subparts together. Do not answer it separately. You should not be like question number 4 subpart A first, and question number 3 subpart B first, and question number 4 B. No, don't do this. Even though the order may be different, all the subparts answer it together. Okay. And the final is your question number. So whenever you're presenting an answer, in the middle of the page, put a box like this and write question number 4 subsection A, and then start writing your answer. Okay, so as you all know, you have to write each subpart in a fresh page and each new question in a fresh page. Do not start question number 4A and then question number 4B here. No, don't do this. Every subpart in a new page, every new question in a new page. That's how you have to do. So whenever you're starting it in a new page, at the top most center, put a box like this, a big box, and write your question number and along with your subpart there, and start answering your question, so that the exam, it's easier for the a paper corrector to know which question this is related to. Okay, so now our aim is to make the paper easier for correcting. The easier it is for paper correction, the more marks we'll get in the exam. Okay, so that was your structure. The second question is that lot of students that they have is, right, is writing the section number and the standards on auditing number, is it important? In law, is the section number important? In audit, is the standards on auditing, essay numbers, are they important to remember or not? Are they important to write in the exam or not? So in law, it is not important to remember the section numbers. It is not important to remember the section numbers. You can just go directly write as per the provisions of Companies Act, or as per the provisions of Contract Act, as per the provisions of Negotiable Instrument Act. But it is very important that you write the act name. It is not important that you write the section numbers or not, but it is very important that you quote the act name and come. Okay, so remember that. Remember your acts very well. Okay. And when you come to your audit, is writing the essay number important? Yes, it is important. You have to remember all the essay numbers along with all the essay number topics. Okay, like essay 200, what is the topic? Essay 201, what is the topic? You have to remember all of that, and you have to quote the topic and come in the exam. Yes, okay. I hope you understood that. Now, moving on to our question number 3, which is short forms. Is short forms allowed to be written in the exam? Yes, short form is allowed to be written in the exam, but always remember what you have to do is that you have to suppose annual general meeting is what you are using a short form for. AGM is the short form you are using. In that, what you have to do is when you're starting the answer, at least once or twice in the answer, write the full form, write annual general meeting, and in the bracket mention it as AGM, and from the third or fourth time you can start writing it as AGM itself. Yes, so at least once or twice in the answer, quote the full form and write it in brackets the short form, and after that you can start using your short form. So that is for your short forms. Now, what about technical language? Is technical language important in the exam? Have the rankers in their exams quoted the technical language? Technical language as such is not necessary. Like how the English is given in the books, like that you have to copy and paste. No, it's not like that. You need not do that. But there are certain words which you have to use. For example, if you take auditing, there is this true and fair view. Then there is this external confirmations, and then you have your nature, timing, and extent. So such keywords are important. There is no replacement for such keywords, and that is what we call as your technical language, not is, the, and all, correct? So these keywords are important for the exam. You have to remember the keywords and write them in the exam. As such, exact book language is not necessary, that you can make use of your own English and do that, but then the keywords are very important. Yes. Next, going to your question number 4, how much content should we write for the marks given in the exam? How do we balance the marks versus the content given in the exam? So, for how many marks, how much content should we write? So, here I have given you a box where you can take utilization of this. So, here if it is a 2 mark question, you just directly hit the point. Okay, that means hit the point means whatever they are asking in the question in 2 points, you just answer and come. Okay, no extra answers and all. If they are asking what is AGM, what is EGM, suppose an example, just write in 2 points what is AGM, EGM, and directly come in the exam. Okay, now if it is a 3 mark answer, you have to first write the provision and then answer the question. Like if they are asking if audit documentation is necessary in a 2 mark, you can directly write yes, it is necessary and how it should be maintained. Now if it is a 3 mark question, then write first what is audit documentation, give a brief about what is that topic talking about. Okay, in the first line you have to give the topic about what is the topic talking about, and then you can directly write your answer. Okay, in the 3 mark, for the extra 1 mark you need to write the provision or a brief about the topic on what the topic is talking about, and then answer your question. Yes. Now what if it is a 4 mark question or a 6 mark question? In that you need to use a detailed explanation to answer, like at least 1 page of your answer sheet should be filled for a 4 mark, 5 mark, or a 6 mark answer. Okay, you can use formats to answer the question. For example, in law you have a few formats to answer the question, which we'll discuss in some time. Yes, or just need to give a detailed explanation of whatever the topic is. Directly you cannot write to the point and come in the exam. Even if you're writing to the point, then you need to at least explain what that point is meaning. Okay, so if you're writing yes, the audit documentation is important, you cannot just stop with that. You need to explain why and what or how. Yes, so remember that this is how you have to balance your content. Yes. Next point we are going to discuss is points versus paragraph. Should we answer it in points like A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, or do we need to write in paragraphs? So this is a very subjective question to first answer this. Okay, there is no specific rule where they have told that you have to answer in points or whether you have to answer in paragraphs. But when analyzing through all the all India rankers paper, what I have come across is that they use a blend of both. Okay, so wherever there is even if you're writing one paragraph answers also, in between they made a sub point and answered it in like A, B, C in pointers. Okay, so this is a very subjective question whether you have to answer it in points or paragraphs, but make sure you don't answer the entire paper in points or the entire paper in paragraphs. Please make sure to use a blend of both. Okay, fine. And then the next one is that whether underlining the keywords is necessary. It is very, 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 very important. So you wouldn't have seen any all India rankers paper, almost 99% of the papers have their keywords underlined. So how do you judge whether there is a keyword and what you have to underline? Because this is a very common query, that ma'am, which one do we underline and what do we not underline? So what you have to remember is that, suppose if the sentence is, my name is Bhavna, for an example. Okay, so here this my is and all is not needed. If you underline name and Bhavna, this is important. The examiner, I mean the paper corrector, need not read the entire answer. If they read these two keywords alone, they'll understand that this is what the the sentence or the answer is talking about. So make sure you underline such words which will frame the sentence even without the is, the, and other words. Okay, so this is how you have to do your underlining, and underlining is very important. Yes. Next is handwriting. Is a good handwriting important? Is a good handwriting important? The answer is good handwriting is not important. Good handwriting is not important. I've seen a lot of papers with a bad handwriting too. But what makes it a paper that is a all India ranker level is that even with bad handwriting, what they have done is they have written the answer so well legibly and so beautifully that it looks very presentable. That if they know that if their handwriting is bad, they're not going to write words close to each other. They have written one word here, the next word here, the next word here, and the next word here. So at least examiner, I mean the paper correctors, knows that these are different words, okay, which are forming a sentence. So at least even if your handwriting is good, well and good. But if your handwriting is bad, make sure that you leave adequate space between the words and adequate space between the sentences. Okay, so handwriting really does not matter, but presentation matters. Now if you have made a mistake in your answer paper, how do you strike it? Suppose if I've written, okay, that the same thing, my name is, and then I've made some mistake in this spelling. Okay, so now how do I strike it? Few papers I saw, it does not look nice at all. So what they do is they go and then do this. No, don't do this. This is not how you should strike a paper. What you need to do is, if some word is wrong, just do a single strike. Yes, this is more than enough. What you need to do is you need to do a single strike on the paper, and that's it. How does this look and how does this look? You need to make the difference, correct? So single strike whenever you are doing an answer is more than enough. Okay, don't scribble upon it. Yes, so these were the common points of how you need to present your paper. Now let's move on to answering your subject wise important points, subject wise important points. So first, starting with your audit paper, what your audit paper has differently than the other papers is, first your correct and incorrect, and then your second is your standards on auditing. So how do you have to answer these two? I'll tell you now. So first, when you talk about correct and incorrect, how do you need to answer? So for that, I've taken an All India Rankers paper and we'll analyze that. Wait a second, where is it? Yes, here, as you can see, this person has got 66 marks out of 70 marks in their auditing paper, which is very, very, very good. Yes, so now let's analyze how they have presented their answers. Correct. So here the first question, see how they have written in the middle of the page itself, they have boxed the question and written. Then incorrect or correct, they have underlined it like I told you. And then what they have done is, first you need to write whether it is a correct or incorrect question. First write that, and below you have to answer in 2 to 3 points maximum. 2 to 3 points. Don't answer it in 1 point. Yes, this statement is correct. Yes, this statement is not correct. No, you have to write that, and then you have to give a 2-liner explanation or a 3-liner explanation as to why that statement is correct or incorrect. The why you should be able to answer. Yes, so here see, they have written as per the SA 210 agreeing the terms of audit engagement. So they have mentioned both the, one second, essay number and as well as the essay name. Like I told you, it is very important, you have to remember. So once they have quoted that, then what they have done is, in this para style, in 3 points, 1 2 3, they have answered the correct or incorrect. And you see here they have underlined it. So may not record, the law applies, management understanding its responsibility, and all of that. So the important words they have underlined, and they have answered the why also. So incorrect or correct, always remember. See, even here there is one more example. So they have written that audit plan is more detailed than the overall strategy, so that they have answered whether it is correct or incorrect, that statement they have given here, and then they have explained one or two lines about it. See here how the person has given gap between all his words. This is not a BCom exam where you have to fill the answer paper, remember that. But it is very necessary that you present it very well. So see, they have given good amount of gap between words, so that it's easier for the examiner to understand it. So at least you have to fill it like this. Okay, so correct or incorrect, write first whether it is correct or incorrect, underline it, write the provision, and write the why or an explanation about it. So this is the format you have to follow. Okay, next is the essay name and number. Like I told you, it's very important. Wherever you're writing the essay number, try to box it like he or she has done. So you need to box it and underline the essay name. Okay, so it is very important that you remember this. Fine, that was about your audit. Now let's next move on to your law paper. So in law paper, so usually what happens is that you will be given a case where you have to analyze and come to a conclusion. So this format you would have heard hundreds of times before, and let me repeat it again for you. So whenever a question is given, what you need to do is first, which section or around what section or provision is this question talking about, you have to identify and write that provision, explain that provision. Okay, and then in that question, about what case are they talking about, write the facts of that case. Now prepare an analysis comparing the provision and facts of the case. Comparing these both, provide an analysis, like so and so has happened in this case, and so this provision says, like if so and so happens, and so penalty needs to be provided. So compare and analyze the case. Yes, after doing that, at the end you can write the conclusion. Now let me again show you an answer sheet. See, they have first written the provision of the law. As you can see here, they have first written the provision of the law, and then they have written the facts of the case, and then they have come to the conclusion. Okay, and see, they have boxed the important part here, like 181 days. They have boxed here, and if you see, they have used a blend of paragraphs and point here. So this is in paragraph, this is in para, and here see conclusion they have given in point. So you need to use a mix of both pointers and paragraphs. Okay, I hope you understood this. This is how you have to answer your law paper. Now then, coming to your EIS SM paper, how do you answer it? So two points you have to very well remember for your EIS SM paper is, usually in EIS SM it includes a lot of subheadings. So what you need to do is, whenever you're writing your subheading, make sure that you're explaining the subheadings in 2 to 3 lines also. Just don't write the subheading and come. Okay, so if it is a disadvantage question or an advantage question, I know you will very well remember what the subhead is. So write the subheadings, and 2 to 3 lines minimum you need to explain for it. Then only you will get the mark. For subheadings alone, there will be no mark given in the exam. It will only be a 0. You have to explain the subheading. Only then you will get the mark for it. Okay. Yes. And before you start any answer, what you need to do is, if suppose they are asking what are the advantages of core banking system, then you need to not directly start with the advantages. Don't write the advantages of core banking system, or don't start like that. First you have to write a brief about what is core banking system, and then write, after writing 2 to 3 lines about it in briefly about the topic, then you need to start answering the question. So remember this pattern, you can use across all the papers, that before starting any answer you need to brief the topic and then start with your answer, because briefing the topic also has marks. Okay, yes, do that. Now coming to your final paper, which is your IDT paper. In that, one important point that I wanted to discuss was, when you are getting this sums in IDT paper, practical sums in your IDT paper, then in that case, what people do is they directly find whatever the answer is and then they come. Yes, this does not carry the entire marks in the exam. You need to also remember that whatever notes you are providing, that is also going to carry your marks. Yes, see here how the person has explained the provisions and why they have taken the so and so decision while making this answer. You have to explain all of that and come. Just imagine that the examiner does not know anything and you are teaching them, so you need to explain all the provisions in the exam and come. Yes, so I hope you understood this. So yes guys, so this was the detailed strategy on how you have to write your theory papers, and these were the very important points that I came across, which separates the topper students from the average students, and the points that they know on how to answering the paper. If there is any other doubt on this theory subjects or any particular subject where you want to know how to answer, do let me know that question in the comment section below. I'll make sure to answer it. Yes, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please make sure to share it with your friends and all your CA family. And the video on practical subjects is coming soon, so stay tuned. Thank you so much.